God loved me like a family member before I ever came into being, to the point that God was willing to go through the most suffering and pain possible so that we could have a system that is love, truth, grace, that is paid for, and true justice. And this was the only system I could find like that. And it's also amazing to me that God started, after the Garden of Eden, God started with plan B. Who does that? Nobody does that. Nobody starts with plan B. They start with plan A, right? I mean, in fact, if you were in a business negotiation with someone, well, this is the way we think will work. But, let's do this way. It's going to take time and cost us money, but not work. You'd laugh them out of the meeting. You're saying, this, I don't want to be in business with this person. They're an idiot. All right? But God started with plan B, what was called the old law. And it says that this is just unimaginable, that the purpose of the old law, which was, if you do this, if you do good, you get good. If you do bad, you get bad. And it's all about the goods and bads and the check marks. How many check marks versus how many X mark sins you have. And is your percentage high enough of good to bad for you to be a good person and be forgiven and all that? But it was all about you doing it with your willpower right enough. Okay? Well, it says that God did that whole thing so that sin would increase. He knew it would never work. He had plan A before he ever started plan B, but for some reason, he needed to start with plan B. You know what I think? I don't know, and you're welcome to your opinion. I think God knew that in this physical world that we live in, that he created for us to live in, where everything does work by stimulus response, action reaction, reap what you sow. It's the natural laws of nature. Gravity, inertia, okay? It's the way everything works. And the way we grow up believing and doing things is what I call the 3-step success plan that we've had for the last 75 years in self-help, that is actually a plan that leads to failure and that will cause you to fail even if you weren't failing before, which is decide what you want, number one. Number two, make a plan to get what you want, put it into action, okay? Revise it as needed. And number three, with your willpower, never give up working the plan until you get what you want. All right? Almost every self-help book on success in the last 75, 80 years teaches that 3-step paradigm. And they have a 97% failure rate. Why? Because it's a plan for failure, not success. And I'm going to explain that in a few minutes, because it is fear-based, not love-based. And it is willpower-based versus supernatural power-based. Okay? The new system, the plan B, if you will, that was the plan all along, is the plan of love, truth, grace, and justice. And I believe the only one that exists anywhere in the world. The problem is that those of us who have called ourselves Christians and gone into buildings that said Christian and that sort of thing, we have messed it up. All right? We have not been known by our love. So much of the time it's been about power, control, the old law of if you do good, you'll be thought of good in church. If you do bad, you'll be thought of bad in church. And we gossip about all these other people out here that are doing wrong things. And goodness gracious, how did we get so far from what it was supposed to be? Love, grace. That doesn't do that, okay? There is no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Gossip is mentioned in the same sentence as far as a sin with murder. Okay? Of course, somebody murders someone, the whole church is talking about it, and oh, they're a really bad person. But people gossip all the time, and nothing. Do not judge. That's another commandment. All right? Wow, church was the most judgmental place I've ever experienced in my life. But it's not supposed to be. That's how we've messed it up. All right? And so I'm wanting to start something here. Have no idea what it is or will be. But that is real. And hopefully what God intended this thing to be. That is grace, love, justice, truth, church, a successful, happy, healthy life. My best life possible.